low there. This engine room was never that bad. The other engine room, about to where the base of the steps was, and maybe 2 feet over that, is how high it had flooded in the other engine room. The bottom of the shafts had a couple feet of water on the other side. They had a little bit of water. Most of the water was under the deck plating over here on this
Not the
boiler
recent
room.
flooding.
The June and July
Oh,
flooding.
okay. Wow.
Couldn't have been very easy to get out either.
No, and the problem was there's just enough oil left in the system. All of those tanks didn't get steam cleaned that it became this big EPA issue. Granted, we leaked some oil out into the ship channel, all of maybe 2 gallons, and it was like it was Chernobyl here. So, and with everything else that's floated down that ship channel,
Try to clean this thing?
I was amazed that we became the focus of all the environmental efforts.
What caused the flooding? Just rust?
It started as a 2-inch hole in one of the plates and
Got an extra
blister.
bucket?
When we tried to patch out, the problem is the whole blister system is so structurally unsound that when we patch out, it increased pressure elsewhere and just started spraying leaks. And what happened is the ship sank here in the 70s, and they allowed it to sit. The bottom 19 feet was submerged for about 15 years. And so that rusted out all your internal partitioning down there. So once water gets in, it's very hard to keep it contained to one area. And so it started migrating from fuel tank to fuel tank underneath there in the double bottom. So the crabs, there were a couple from underneath the port engine room, and then the tank that I showed you on the third deck, the one I talked about that was down a couple decks below, I think that's where they found the other ones. They found, what's really troubling is the original hole was supposed to be a 2-inch diameter hole. We found crabs like that in the ship.
The question is, they come in and
Either they've been in here a long time, or there are holes we don't know about. To give you an idea of the cylinders and the pistons on the engine, it's easier when you look at it from the top here and you see the tops of the cylinder heads.
massive.
Low pressure, intermediate pressure, and the high pressure is right there. There's your boiler rooms. There's the drying rooms that we were in earlier. And you can see how far a distance it is from the boiler rooms to the engine room. There's actually a pretty good physical separation. And of course it's a hex food. So, these plates were actually designed to come out, so if they had to do serious maintenance work, you have an overhead system where you can actually lift the cylinder heads off. So the plates we took out were designed to come out. They were out in the passageway. We put the plexiglass in because while we were doing the engine room repairs, the whole engine room was closed for a while. And one of the veterans I escorted, the guy who dropped the shell in the handling room, he did a year in the handling room and then did a year in the engine room. He talked about while he was there, they had to replace one of the cylinders. And it took about 3 days to let the engine to cool down enough where they could work on it. And it took them 4 or 5 days to replace one of the piston rings. So it was not a small job, and it was something you want to be able to come off the line for a while to do that.